Just a heads up to you folks sitting with a notebook and pen, Mishki, the new podcast here in Garage Logic Land, is now coming out twice a week, Wednesdays and Fridays. If you're in fact scribbling this down, Wednesday is kind of tough to spell. It's not like it sounds. You want to spell it W-E-N-Z, but that, of course, would be a mistake. Friday is spelled just like it sounds. You're going to be okay there, but Wednesday's a bugaboo. Let me tell you, people, just a pain in the patootie. Jeez, it's hard.
Josh Arnold, investment consultant, brings you Garage Logic podcast number 1614, September 8, 2025. 99 degrees on this day in 1931 and 36 degrees on this day in 1883. Usually I say 36 degrees on the morning of this day of a chilly record, but I'll tell you why I won't in just a moment. Call Josh Arnold at 952-925-5608 for a free 48-minute consultation.
Hail the flashlight king. Hail you!
And now, from the mayor's office above the boathouse on the east shore of Spoon Lake, it's Garage Logic with Chris Reavers manning Technology Corner, Kenny Ellison from the Krabby Coffee Shop, John Heidt in the newsroom, and of course, the rookie. Here is your flashlight king, fireworks commissioner, and the keeper of common sense, your mayor, Joe Souchere.
I received a note from Scott Holter out in Seattle, who writes, I've held back from providing commentary on this for months, hoping that Mr. FYI, well, not today, or an off-site correspondent would beat me to it. But how do you know that the record low temperature each day was recorded in the morning? Oh. Remember Armistice Day. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. I'm still surviving in Seattle. We're in a half-mile radius from my house. There are 11 breweries and 111 tents and RVs. Ooh. I don't know what that means. Is he living in some sort of recreational area, I wonder?
I'm not aware. That's a good point, though, because you would think that when establishing weather records, not only would the temperature be applied, but also the time of day in which that temperature was recorded.
I don't think so. I don't think
we could add a little nugget now.
I don't think it's worth worrying about. I'm going to always err on the side of if it was 36 degrees on this day in 1883, it probably was in the morning, okay?
Right before dawn?
You're saying chances are. You're running with the numbers.
Today there's no Heidt and there's no Olson.
Okay. In fact, Rook, we should go with that on the air.
I'm kind of checked out, too.
Well, Kenny, Rookie noted that Heidt works from home.
Yes, sir.
But he's having car trouble.
I don't think I've ever heard of that before. He's having trouble getting to the basement.
That's a good point, because during, the height of COVID, when many people, including most of our sales staff, was working from home, did they get sick days? Do you get, personal days?
Really
and Kenny, I don't know whatever happened to him. I really don't care. He must be shooting something.
Throwing axes.
Caping something out.
Caping a deer out. Or is it? It's not even deer hunting season, is
Not
it?
yet. We're almost there.
Yeah. Ilhan Omar update?
Oh, I didn't know we were going there.
I didn't either, but I have to change things around. All right. And I love when GLers do the math that I not only would not...
Here is your latest Ilhan Omar report on Garage Logic.
To my knowledge, that still hasn't been reported locally about her wealth, at least by the so-called legacy media. I've not seen a word in the Minneapolis paper, the St. Paul paper, or any of the conventional news channels in town.
Didn't the Five? I thought the Five did one. I'll check. I'll double check.
The Five has been doing pretty good work on Jeremiah Ellison cheating both the fellowship and the city council, drawing salaries from both entities, even though it violates the rules of both entities to do so. And his city council colleagues, by the way, did we mention this? They all support his Harvard fellowship. And I've given you the reason for that. They want the same thing. They would pull the same stunt.
Oh, okay. I see what you're
they
saying.
are not people of character. Maybe one or two of them are, but that's about it. They are not people of character. The third rail is the only place in America where you get paid and your principal job is to find yourself another job. Right? You're getting paid while you're basically looking to move up the third rail ladder.
That's very true, which is evident with our own St. Paul mayor.
Every time Melvin Carter, who's a handsome young man,
Sure.
Every time I see Melvin Carter, I can't help but think, he's all dolled up in the first place.
Yep.
And he's perfectly coiffed, and he speaks glowingly about whatever he's speaking about. I can't help but think he's hoping someone notices this. Not a constituent. He's hoping somebody in the Democratic National Party notices this.
For his next gig.
And plucks him for a gig in Washington. Meanwhile, he would have nothing to offer anyone because this city is falling apart.
Right. If they looked at his resume, what is your city doing? Nothing right now.
Well, we know that I'll get to the math for Ilhan in just a moment. My mind is wandering.
I did look at KSTP.com. I did not see a story. So
I don't think anyone's covered Ilhan's incredible wealth. That's a right-wing plot.
Right.
Anyway, Ellison's teammates on the Minneapolis City Council are extremely supportive of his efforts. And there's only one reason, because they want that same support given to them when they pull the same scam.
Well, you're on the same team.
Yeah, it's a club they're in, and it's a hell of a club, and it's our fault. It's the voters' fault. You've turned it over to the wrong people.
My issue is what does Harvard expect from Ellison? What is he going to teach or say?
Nothing. These are fellowships in which they pretend they're exposed to greater things and travel the world and what have you. Okay, this is from Todd Meyer. Gang, let's do the math. And he typed this on September 5th, which would have been Friday. Ilhan was put into office on January 3rd, 2019. That's so she's been there 2,437 days.
Okay.
All right. Her net worth went from minus $50,000 to $30 million, which equals $30,050,000 over 2,437 days. She denies this, by the way, but there's too many people that have reported it. We'll keep this simple and assume a straight linear growth. That means she earned $12,330 per day, $86,000 per week, $370,000 per month, or $4,500,718 per year.
Wow.
Since we know that she is an honorable, humble woman of the people, I'm sure she made this money in an upright, legal way. As much as I would love to ride on that third rail, I'm not sure I'm ready to sell my soul so cheaply. Guess I'll have to keep making money the old-fashioned way. Todd, isn't that something?
Yes.
Holy cow. It's almost like when you break down one of those big contracts in professional sports, the grand figure doesn't mean anything, but it's the amount earned per day is what really gets you.
Yeah, $68,000 per catch, that type of thing.
Wow.
Yeah. The Bears will win tonight, by the way.
Why do you say that?
I'm not saying that
You
because I'm
Viking hater.
No,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that because I'm anti-Vikings. I think they got a nice crew. I just think the Bears are better this year. They're at home, and it's time they did something.
Festive in Chicago this evening.
Oh, boy, they're already there. Trust me. They're already
I think they're
there.
still there in Buffalo, too.
You'll recall I read an email from a guy named Scott Rose, who's a sheriff in southern Minnesota,
Yes.
southeastern Minnesota, and he was talking about his daily experiences with just trying to enforce various gun laws that we already have. And he wrote me back and he said, thanks for the kind words. I didn't mean to omit my agency and guess I was just in the zone when I was typing my thoughts. I have proudly served my entire career in Dodge County in southeastern Minnesota. That would be just west of Rochester, where his father also served. I started the podcast. It's called Officer Down Memorial Podcast.com. a few years after losing one of my closest friends at the sheriff's office. Since then, I've served on the board of directors for the Minnesota Law Enforcement and Memorial Association, the Law Enforcement Memorial Foundation of Southeast Minnesota, and the Invisible Wounds Project. The first two organizations honor our fallen and support their survivor families, and the other one supports mental health support for first responders. While I have truly loved my career in law enforcement, I absolutely loved working in the old radio days and have continued to do audio production and voiceover work for the last 20 years in my home studio. On the side during my law enforcement career. I hope to do more when I retire from law enforcement in the next couple of years. Thank you guys for all the laughs, much needed on my end. Anytime you have law enforcement related questions, issues, or concerns, I would be happy to chime in. I was very proud when Governor Walz was named VP running mate on the Harris ticket for POTUS. Proud because I'm a rural small county sheriff out here among the rocks and cows, and prospective DFL VP candidate for the U.S. doesn't like me. A badge of honor, I would say. He and I have had our differences, from the ridiculous COVID lockdown to his jumping on the anti-police bandwagon after Floyd overdosed and died. I've written about him and his party's anti-law enforcement rhetoric and how it's desecrated the law enforcement profession here in the state and across the country, especially in Minneapolis. Any way I can help in the future, I would be honored to do so. And then he provides all his contact information. Scott Rose, Dodge County Sheriff. So we'll hang on to that. And that's welcome news.
Yeah, because with the current state of this staff, there may be some
There's some openings.
Soon. Yeah,
there's openings.
He can do it from home, too, if his car works.
Guy works at home and he's having car trouble. I figure that one out.
I couldn't. That's the first thing I thought of. I couldn't wait to get to see you to tell you that.
Manorville. That's your county seat in Dodge County.
Dakota, Dodge, and Douglas are your D counties.
You ever been?
To the county?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have.
Who you go with?
I have.
Kind of between Owatonna and
do you want me to? Who's the Bears quarterback?
that'd be Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
Sir.
You want me to get back to that?
Sure.
Yeah, I'm interested to hear.
The Bears are due to just end this reign of mediocrity. They're due to play some role of influence in the division.
Is this Detroit like?
Yeah, I think so. It's time for them to quit. They want a new stadium, the whole deal. They have to show the world something, because the way they've played over the last 10 years is ridiculous.
The Vikings are 1.5 point favorites.
That's not much
on the road.
Bet you $1.
Oh, you're on.
100?
Again, I'm not trying to be difficult. I'm as big as Vikings fan as the next guy, and I hope they win.
Sure.
I just have this gut feeling that
you're feeling it.
It's Chicago's time to do something.
I know that you're going to break this down during Monday Night Sports Talk.
Well, see, that's another thing.
Oh no! Did I just pour a little salt in the wound and rip it right open?
Pat called today and said...
technically yesterday.
And said, I'll let you know when I'm available. So he's not...
I'll give you the official text. Here we go.
Not available today.
He sent myself and our former cohort, Judd Zulgad, a text yesterday. Gentlemen, I'm going to the deep in North Woods from this afternoon and driving back Tuesday through Wednesday. I will let you know when I am available. Royce.
So he's gone through Thursday or Wednesday?
Tuesday. Sorry, he could be available Wednesday. He'll let us know when he's available. But I'm up north camping.
Oh yeah, I can imagine him putting up the Coleman tent. Honey, you better grab the purple one. You got to match it together.
DA, inflate the air mattress.
Yes. Oh, the poor air mattress.
Oh my God.
The Democrats in California, despite great appeals to them by Jay Leno, who's a car guy.
Yep.
Yes.
They killed an exemption for classic cars from emission standards.
Okay.
In fact, wasn't he very outspoken about this?
Yeah, Senate Bill 712 was known as Leno's Law. It offered a practical solution for owners of collector vehicles that have difficulty complying with the smog check law. Leno's Law is sponsored by Jay Leno. The bill would exempt on an ongoing basis collector cars whose model year is 35 years or older from the state's smog check law. But the Democrats in California, I would imagine all of whom are not fanciers of old cars, they wouldn't do this, which is a shame. The cars are infrequently driven. They're carefully maintained. They make up only a fraction of the cars on the road. Exempting them from the biennial smog check would strengthen California's car culture by helping preserve these historical treasures. This was a fact sheet put out by the supporters of this. Oh, and now the law is officially dead, which is just a shame. And these activists that we've elected here who they don't have their finger on the pulse of the most people in the state. They would probably end up doing the same thing here. Although we don't have smog checks, do we?
No, we don't.
In fact, we had the exhaust checks. They ran that scam by us for a few years until they realized that the car manufacturers were way ahead of their curve. Sure. So this targets a small group of people without providing any significant benefit or detriment to overall air quality. In most other states, vehicles over 25 years old considered classic are exempt, the fact sheet said. Writing about the demise of the law in an op-ed on Auto Wire, Stephen Symes vented that potential passage was too good to be true in the regulatory hellscape known as California, especially with so many politicians there deciding that internal combustion engines are killing the planet. Everyone knows why this bill was killed. The party that controls California has waged open warfare on any car that burns gasoline. That means your classic car is public enemy number one, which is really a shame because it's so silly. It would have no impact on air quality in the state. What else does it say here? We were skeptical this bill would ever be passed. After all, California is the same state which has been leading the charge with EV mandates and even talking about banning not only the sale of vehicles with internal combustion engines, but the operation of them on the road. Symes said it's time for classic car lovers to hit the road. What this latest move signals is that if you're a classic car owner and love the hobby, but you happen to live in California, now is the time to leave. Just remember, if you're a gearhead and you do leave the Golden State, don't bring the political mess you left along with you. Vote differently if in the past you've supported the nonsense which has led to this aggressive push against your beloved hobby. Now, this article originally appeared in the Western Journal. And where did I pick it up? I don't know. I can't read that. Anyway, it's dead, and that doesn't surprise me, and it wouldn't surprise me if the people we've elected here would try the same thing, although it's not on the radar right now.
But what happens now to those cars? You just can't drive them?
That's a good point. Presumably what it means is they'll
bring
have
a trailer.
They'll have to get in line and go to the checking station and then presumably fail the check. And then I don't know what's demanded of them, to pay a fine.
Probably. Money changes everything.
Which doesn't do anything for the air. Plus, it's not a problem. They're not.
There was a story associated with that, Joe, over the weekend in which I-5, the main thoroughfare between Los Angeles and San Diego, was packed, right? Cars on both sides with the
spewing.
And someone said, yeah, let's check those classic cars because they're the problem.
Right. They're out infrequently. Statistically, there wouldn't be that many.
Is this an attack on the wealthy?
It's just an attack on, pretty much California has succeeded in demonizing internal combustion.
Wouldn't you throw a can of Seafoam in there before you went to the emission station?
Well, cars weren't built to the standards now demanded by the euphorians. Mm-hmm. So you got a 1965 Pontiac Catalina convertible. The presumption is you're going to get more carbon dioxide emitted from that than you would. Yeah, they spew. But it's just all it is just nitpicking. It's attacking people for no reason whatsoever. But you can verify this. I don't believe people are being allowed to rebuild in Pacific Palisades. And what I was told, and I haven't verified it yet, is that because the state and its political class, they want subsidized housing in there.
Yep.
So you were a single family who dared to be a heterosexual family with maybe 3 kids. And they had a nice house in Pacific Palisades. As it stands at this moment, you cannot rebuild.
No.
Now, I don't know who's paying them for the lot that sits there covered in ash. But the state, there has been no rebuild, and Malibu cannot be rebuilt the way it was.
Corolla did a series
He
of
called this a year ago.
Extensive reports about this very subject, and that many of these lots are being acquired by agencies not from this country.
Ooh.
And it's horrifying. If any of it is true, it's horrifying.
California is a weird situation.
In more ways than one.
It's so big that even when you hear of the corrosive ideology in the political class, there's still Yosemite. There's still Lake Tahoe. There's still the Pacific Ocean.
Yeah.
There's still canyons and forests, and it's undeniably gorgeous. They don't know how to take care of those forests because that also has not been a priority of their governing.
Right.
But it's inevitable that natural beauty will reach a point where it can't make up for the horrible way that the taxpayers are treated there.
Yep.
It just can't make up for it. They either should become their own state and just leave the U.S., because I don't want anything to do with them. I would never live there. Or they should be annexed by Nevada or something. They should become something else because they can't.
It's not working.
And you watch, Newsom will gain a lot of traction as a Democratic hopeful for president because he's got the movie star looks and he's got the hair.
Well, he hasn't done anything.
Basically he's been a complete miserable failure, just like Walz as a governor. Complete miserable failure. But that's, Heidt, before he had car trouble, he told me, he sent me a note over the weekend that said, be sure you to read David Brooks' column, George Will's column, and is it Peggy O'Rourke? Who writes in the Wall Street Journal? Peggy O'Rourke? Who am I thinking of? Mm-hmm. Peggy, I read anyway. These are 3 people I would have read anyway, but I appreciated his note. And the conclusion you come to... Peggy Noonan. And all 3 wrote about history. Independent of each other, they wrote very nice pieces about history. And as Heidt pointed out, it's a shame he's not here to talk about it. He had car trouble. When I got done reading them, I agreed with Heidt. We've had a nice run as a country.
Yep.
But nothing from here on out is going to be the same, unless there's a great reckoning or a great awakening. But David Brooks called his column "Why I Cannot Be a Liberal," and George Will was talking about the ineffectiveness of Congress and was giving historical precedents for how effective Congress once was. And Noonan was saying, unlike the history of this country, we're now doing things we just don't do, meaning behaving in ways that we've never behaved, losing what we've been talking about, losing that civil contract with the constituencies. We're just not behaving the way we once behaved. This state, for example, wouldn't you agree, is pretty much unrecognizable from 10 or 15 years ago?
I'll say.
Yes.
I don't know how far back we'd have to go to declare it unrecognizable, but it is unrecognizable compared to a state most of us once knew. I say fall and winter, if your garage door is going to be taking a little time off from working properly, that's when it usually happens. So why don't you schedule a situation with Precision Door Minnesota? If you need a new door, those estimates are free. They have models for every budget. And just think what a new door can do. It improves the aesthetics. It can save energy because it improves insulation, provides better security because they can wire that baby up to every gimmick you got. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Got
Okay.
it.
Right now they have a great offer, $100 off a single door and $200 off a double door. And also their noisy door tune-up special for $149. That's a $290 value. If that garage is making too many weird noises,
It's going to shut it right
get
up.
them out there. It's a 25-point safety inspection and diagnostic full garage door tune-up. And rollers replaced with ultra-quiet rollers. That's a value of close to $300. They're doing it now for $149. Get ready for the cooler weather ahead. Book online at Precision Door MN. That's one word. PrecisionDoorMN.com or call Precision Door at 612-263-6985 to schedule your free on-site new door estimate.
Reavers here once again for my guy, Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold. Does thinking about retirement make you uncomfortable? Well, sometimes the anxiety from wondering if you've saved enough can be overwhelming. But what if I told you that you could ease those tensions in just 48 minutes? Well, Mr. Money Talk is going to be able to sit down with you and get you on the right track for your financial future. Josh has navigated it all when it comes to uncertain market and economic conditions, and he'll always provide straight talk, never sugar-coated advice on how to reach the finish line with your retirement goals. Don't let your financial worries give you an ulcer or keep you from calling Josh right now. His 48-minute, no-obligation consultation could be just what you need to feel better about your future. Call Josh today at 952-925-5608 and set up your free 48-minute, no-obligation consultation. That's 952-925-5608.
Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC, a security investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice.
Chris Reavers is a paid endorser.
The Earth is not your mother. The Joe Souchere Show.
Peggy Noonan is the...
Did we say Peggy Noonan?
Yeah. Oh, did you say that already?
Yeah, I said the wrong name, but you straightened me out.
Wall Street Journal. Her son Daniel was
I don't care
won
about
a
her
scholarship
son.
at a
I don't care.
Bushwood Golf Course.
She was one of Reagan's main speechwriters.
Danny Noonan.
Oh, I get it. Okay.
He was a scholarship. He always wanted to be a preacher, I think.
Stop.
Boys, you go to that school. They got two girls there, and they're both nuns. John's here. He joined us. He got his car running, so he can work from home now that the car's running. John, I mentioned that you had messaged me over the weekend to read George Will, David Brooks, and Peggy Noonan, and I did. And what is your take on all three of those pieces?
Each one kind of all hit on the history of the U.S. in some respect, but also each one talked about certain aspects of what's going on now and how it doesn't really fit into U.S. history. Mm-hmm. The Peggy Noonan one, she wrote about the David McCullough collection that she just read. Yeah. Talked about, basically that there's no dignity and no grace left in.
Well, and Noonan said we're doing things we don't do, meaning we don't behave this way.
Correct.
And Brooks was writing why he cannot be a liberal.
Yeah.
And he divided the history into pre-liberal and post-liberal.
Yes.
And
he also, he was equal opportunity. He went after the right also.
Oh, he would. That's fine.
He basically was always a conservative, wasn't he?
Oh, yeah.
And now he says that I can't be
Well, he's
liberal,
politically
I can't be
lonely
conservative.
like the rest of us.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And when Noonan said we don't do these things, I think she's referring to Trump in a great many instances, but she's also just referring to the way the political class behaves.
Yes.
We don't do this. And Will was writing about the ineffective of Congress.
Yeah.
The Democrats don't act, but neither do the Republicans, because they don't act without first acquiescing to anything Trump wants. That's not the role of Congress.
He basically called the Republicans, in so many words, spineless bastards.
Yes. What? You've got me thinking. Tom Hanks, look us up, Rook. Tom Hanks was to receive a medal. I don't know from whom. It was either from the military itself or from the Smithsonian, or it was going to be
It was West Point, wasn't it?
It was West Point. And I believe, and it was in acknowledgement of the work he's done on behalf of the military, veterans, and the movies he's made. And I don't know a damn thing about Tom Hanks. I don't follow movie star careers, but I do see his films. And hell, I would have given him a medal for Saving Private Ryan, which was extraordinary. But apparently now the medal's been canceled.
The award is given to an outstanding citizen of the U.S. Whose service and accomplishments in the national interest exemplify personal devotion to the ideals expressed in West Point's motto, duty, honor, and country.
Has it been canceled?
Go ahead, John.
It's been canceled, and I don't know if you saw this morning.
I did not.
Trump took to social media to tell them how happy he was that somebody who is that woke won't be getting the award. He said, quote, he said, quote, important move. We don't need destructive woke recipients getting our cherished American awards.
Well, that's pathetic, but what else isn't it? That's silly. Again, I don't know anything about Hanks and his wokeism.
All right, it's given out by the...
what's the award called?
Let's see. In an email, retired Colonel Mark Baker said the decision would allow the Academy to continue its focus on core mission. Okay, that's nothing.
Sylvanus Thayer Award is what it's called, awarded annually.
And I'm sure, despite... See, this is the irony. If he was truly as woke as Trump is painting him, he probably wouldn't want to receive the award. But I bet he was eager to receive it.
He also did receive the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
From which president?
In 2016 from President Obama.
Okay. Well, Trump, you're just a small guy. You're just really a small guy, fully undeveloped. Well, I shouldn't say fully. Wholly undeveloped. Something happened to you when you were 6 or 7, and you're just a screwed up fool. But that's ridiculous to and I'm normally not even a big fan of all these awards, but he seems like a guy who deserved that type of award.
I think so, and I think the West Point Alumni Association probably thins the people that are potential award winners out quite a bit. They don't just give them away.
Well, if he'd do something to kiss Trump's fat ass, he might get it.
All right.
Okay.
I don't care anymore, Reavers.
Yeah,
I really don't care.
On that point too.
Huh?
I'm pretty much beyond that point.
Yeah, who cares? This is ridiculous. This guy's ridiculous. And God forbid that I'm defending a Hollywood
that
icon.
is weird.
It is weird.
You can't say that.
I did say icon.
You can't say that.
Well, but it fits into exactly what we were talking about in these three pundits over the weekend. This is not the way we used to behave.
No, and Garage Logic will call somebody out if there's you don't have to be.
When Tom Hanks came along 25 years ago or 30 years ago or 50 years ago, he would have been recognized for the honor. And now, apparently, what you have to be recognized for is first passing Trump's litmus test before you can get an honor.
Danger.
Well, bleep that.
Yeah, that's dangerous.
Somebody better tell Trump to go bleep himself before telling him that will get you shot.
I think you just got a little closer there to tell him.
Somebody better tell him to go bleep himself before telling him that gets you put in prison. Because that's where we're headed.
That's true.
It's absolutely obscene. Absolutely obscene.
The judge would like to see a caddy named Danny Noonan as soon as he comes in.
I'm Danny Noonan.
Would you come with me, please?
You know, look.
I didn't know the relationship to Peggy, though, before I looked that up.
That's a good point. You know what he did? He was curious.
Research.
He did excellent research for the show, and we found out a nugget we otherwise wouldn't have. You learn more here by accident
than elsewhere
by design.
Amen to that. But somebody should have just told President Trump, leave it alone. Don't touch it. Huh?
Lay off.
Lay off. Come on.
We just don't. We're behaving poorly all across the board. It's not just Trump. Everywhere, we've lost our moral and ethical way. We live in a state we don't recognize. We're rapidly living in a country we don't recognize. I really doubt in the failed academy that kids are studying a lot of history.
Well, you mean the history that has survived,
I think
rather than deleting it.
I think the Mink had a good point. You know the Mink, he controls the city. Sure. He said, I watched both Nora O'Donnell and Barry Weiss interview Amy Comey Barrett. I like Barrett a little more than I already did and came away with one main thought. Civics should be taught in school again. Not so much the minutia, but at least a good overview of what the branches of government do and are responsible for. Let me pause right there. These man-on-the-street interviews with college and high school kids, I generally can't stand them for two reasons. One, I never know if they're legit. And two, unfortunately, I believe they are. And these kids are beyond stupid. What are they learning? What the hell are they learning? Do you think if you stopped a kid coming out of a school today in the Twin Cities and asked them to define the three branches of the government, they could do it?
No.
I don't think so. Can you do it?
Yeah. I just did it. I just did it to prove to myself that I could do it. Thank you.
And then the Mink continues, the Trump Twitter shot with him as Duvall in Apocalypse Now with the smell of deportations. It's amusing, but the man has no decorum.
Right.
But when I see these posts, I have to think he's got staff who puts these things together. Yeah, that's a good point. I don't think Trump said, hey, get me Duvall in Apocalypse Now. Somebody came up with that on Trump's team. It's funny. It's amusing. But the Mink says, I think he's got to have staff who puts these things together, and these young people are the result of the failed academy and thus have no sense of shame or context or decorum other than what works on the stained, shiny object that is social media. On the whole, it pleases me if it agitates the left, though. And it will agitate the left. Go ahead, John.
If we go back to the Peggy Noonan column, remember she said she talked to a political operative who basically told her that's the way the political world is now. Both sides, they are hiring young people who have no sense of what they should be doing, so they do stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And she
that was a friend of hers.
Yes, and she said it in 15 paragraphs, not in 5 words like I just did. Yeah.
Well, and learn to just let things go. You don't have to comment on every single thing.
I happen to think Chicago needs the help
Take that to the bank.
that Trump's offering.
Okay.
You guys do know that Duvall's character was a bad guy, right? And he wasn't a good guy, right?
Right.
Well, yeah,
he wasn't a hero.
But see, the young people wouldn't look at it that way.
You're right. They'd see him as some sort of anti-hero who they love.
Yeah.
Well, and Tom Hanks, Forrest Gump got, Lyndon B. Johnson wrapped the medal right around his neck. I mean, it's classic.
Watergate, the whole thing.
He was an English teacher in Saving Private Ryan. That was one of my favorite scenes in the movie when the people around him were bugging him and telling him, come on, what did you do back home? What were you? He was a high school English teacher.
That's a tough opening scene.
Well, this wasn't the opening scene.
No, but I'm saying the beginning of that movie.
In the head.
Oof. Where he takes the helmet off. Oof.
Yeah, that was a tough opening scene. The whole thing was tough.
Powerful movie.
Very powerful. Now, and he died in the movie, right? Well, Ryan?
Way to spoil the ending.
Spoiler alert. If you haven't seen it by now.
25 years ago.
No, the reason I ask is I can't remember because it's been a while since I've seen it, but people were assigned to go find him because the family had lost the other Ryans.
Correct.
Yes.
The four brothers.
Yeah.
Did you know the story behind that, by the way?
I did not.
The other actors were basically depraved of everything because they truly wanted the other actors to hate Matt Damon's character.
I don't even remember Matt Damon's character.
He was...
Huh?
He was the guy.
He was the guy.
The guy did what?
Jesus.
He was saved.
He was
Private Ryan.
He was Private Ryan.
Well, who was Hanks?
He was the captain.
He was the captain.
Oh, that's right. Hanks was the guy who was in charge of finding Private Ryan.
You're thinking of Castaway.
And the volleyball.
Jesus.
Well, that was Wilson.
No, that was...
Wilson didn't speak much, if you remember. And that's why he couldn't find him. He was a castaway going, there's nobody else here.
This explains...
Why Rookie gets paid.
No,
Yeah.
this explains
Everything.
why what I told you. This explains why there's just no traction.
Here we go.
No.
You get something going,
we're off
and
the
the next
wheels.
thing you know, you're telling me about a soccer ball.
The wheels are off the mark.
Technically volleyball.
Yes.
Oh, God. A volleyball. What did I say?
His name was Wilson.
Soccer ball. It was a volleyball.
In fact, didn't Wilson win an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor?
Yes. Mute. It's a mute point.
John, do you have news?
I worked straight through to 11 o'clock.
Until you realized your car didn't
my car
you couldn't come in.
Had a tough time getting to work.
Yeah. Why don't we...
Why don't you...
I'm going to.
Yes.
What are you going to tell me about, Joe? I wish you'd tell me about
I got to tell you right now, I
Switching
can
gears.
lead you in. I was in Sioux Falls, South Dakota on Saturday for a wedding.
Why?
I had a wedding.
Oh, did you like it?
I got to tell you, downtown Sioux Falls is absolutely beautiful. I'm not joking.
Yeah.
I stayed right on the river at the Holiday Inn.
Well, it's got to be looking better than this video you show of it. It looks like apartment buildings being built in Moscow.
No, but I drove by that very development right there.
How was
But
that?
these are all going to be offices.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I got a good glimpse.
How was that low clearance Holiday Inn awning? Is it still a little scraped up from the...
We're talking about Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
No, it's beautiful. Downtown Sioux Falls is gorgeous.
It's a business-friendly place. If you're looking to expand your work, add on to it, or maybe even start a new business, Sioux Falls has a really tax-friendly environment because because on account of, I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
There's no inheritance taxes. There's no state taxes. There's no state corporate or personal income tax, no inheritance tax, no limits to what your business can achieve. And it's how long a drive is it?
Well, from my place, it was barely over 3.
35 to 90, boom, you're there.
It's nothing.
Yeah.
It's nothing.
We go 169 to 90, boom.
Cut across as the crow flies.
That's it.
Well, it's the best small city for business and careers as voted by Forbes magazine. And you go to Sioux Falls Development Foundation, they're going to give you all the information you need to set up an operation and start growing in Sioux Falls. SiouxFallsDevelopment.com.
It's a good line.
It's the end of the world as we know it, and he feels fine. Joe Souchere.
Let's talk about my friends at Hofferman Water and Connecticut. The best water going right now, and you can upgrade the quality of your water inside your home or maybe your business by getting on the schedule to have them come out for that free water analysis. And you can do that one of two ways. Call them directly at 612-895-2440 or visit their website, which is HoffermanWater.com. And as long as you're on that website, you can see every single water treatment system system that they have to offer. It doesn't matter whether you're in the market for a water softener, maybe an iron, rust, and odor filtration system, or a brand new drinking water system, or you know what? Get them all. Get the best water going right now by getting on that schedule. So they'll come out. They're going to give you this thing that's called a water score. And then based upon that water score, they're going to give you suggestions on treatments and whatnot. But you know what? You're going to be very, very happy if you decide to make the switch, just like I did a number of years ago. I started as a customer of Hofferman Water and Connecticut. 612-895-2440 or visit HoffermanWater.com. Hofferman Water has been proudly serving the state of Minnesota for over 50 years. Please do me a favor and mention that you heard about them on the Garage Logic podcast.
Here's John Heidt in his newsroom.
Thank you, Joe. This news brought to you by North American Banking Company. Hundreds of mourners gathering for the service of Fletcher Merkel yesterday, one of two kids killed when a shooter opened fire on the first mass of the school year at Annunciation Catholic School. Speakers on Sunday choked back tears, smiled, and laughed in honor of Fletcher's brief life. Mourners talked about his love of fishing, something he often did with Dad Jesse, and how he made friends wherever he went. Mourners included Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara, St. Paul Mayor Melvin Carter, and Governor Tim Walz and his wife Gwen. A service for Harper Moisky, the 10-year-old girl who was also killed in the shooting, will be held September 14th in Minneapolis. Meanwhile, a 12-year-old girl who was injured while protecting a classmate during that shooting has been released from the hospital. Lydia Kaiser is now walking and talking, according to an update shared on her GoFundMe page. She previously underwent 2 brain surgeries and will have another one soon to replace a section of skull. One child remains hospitalized with serious injuries, while all other victims are now back home. The Uvalde Foundation for Kids, a national nonprofit, also says it will honor Kaiser with its National Student Heroism Award and provide her with a scholarship. Update to a story we had Friday, a Becker County judge agreeing to delay the sentencing of former state senator Nicole Mitchell on her burglary conviction after her legal team requested a continuance because of an illness. Mitchell had been set to appear in court this Wednesday, but Judge Michael Fritz granted the request, set a new sentencing date for September 23rd. A Becker County jury convicted Mitchell July 18th of 2 felony counts for breaking into the Detroit Lakes home of her stepmother, Carol Mitchell, last year. It took jurors 3 hours of deliberations to find her guilty.
We don't put real criminals in jail. This is all a joke because she's not going to get sentenced to anything anyway.
You know how we keep track of a list of the things that Royce doesn't like?
Yeah.
We should keep track of a list of things that have delayed Nicole Mitchell over the last, year and a half or whatever it's been.
It's going to be longer than Royce's stuff.
You know what? My kid's got a birthday party. Yeah. Can't do it today.
Right.
I didn't get my clothes back from the cleaners in time.
My car broke down. I'm sorry, John. That's not what I meant.
Whoa.
Around 1,400 service workers at the University of Minnesota are readying to strike after rejecting the last, best, and final offer from the school. Teamsters Local 320, which represents the workers, says 82% of its members voted down the last offer from the U of M. Strikes are set to begin tonight at the Crookston and Morris campuses and tomorrow at the Twin Cities, Duluth, and satellite locations. University officials say they do have plans to minimize disruptions in the event of the strike. However, the action could still lead to disruptions just 1 week away from the start of the fall semester. The university's final offer included a 3% raise for workers in the first year, a 2% raise in the second. However, the union is seeking a 3.5% increase in both years of a new deal. Striking Teamsters include janitors, food service workers, waste services, animal attendants, mechanics, and other service employees. I am sorry to report to you that unless you did some traveling, you did not win the big Powerball jackpot Saturday night.
I had a ticket.
Did you?
I did. I bought a ticket.
You didn't win, though, unless you went to Missouri or Texas.
I don't think I won, no.
Yeah. The winners, there was 3 winners altogether. 2 winners, I'm sorry. Missouri and Texas. Those are the 2 winning tickets for the nearly $1.8 billion jackpot. They will split the jackpot. This ends the lottery game's 3-month drought without a big winner.
Now, wait a minute.
Yeah.
You mean 2 tickets had the same numbers?
That's correct.
That can happen?
Oh, happens a lot.
I thought they were all different.
Well, if you choose your own numbers, Joe, somebody else at random could end up with those numbers,
I see.
too.
See, the key is, Rook
I don't want a lot of talk about this.
Same philosophy. You got to stop at a small gas station,
right,
somewhere in the middle of nowhere. I went to the Hy-Vee in Wyndham.
Are you listening to me?
And the guy spent
fairly nuts.
$250
Well, that's ridiculous.
on
See you later.
Saturday. I'm thinking, bro,
Just buy one.
No.
It's the same thing.
$2. You could pick your own numbers. You could do Paul's birthday, John's birthday.
No,
Duke's
John,
birthday.
continue, please.
Well, I was going to take a break here, so
Oh, then do that then.
Why don't we hear from Mr. Mikulski and see what he's got to tell us before we get back to
More
national and
Powerball.
international news?
Yeah, more Powerball news from the Welter family. Welter Heating and Air Conditioning, as well as lottery ticket buying. I will tell you this. The Welter family has been around for many, many generations in Minneapolis and the surrounding metro area. It's Ray and Welter. It's welterheating.com. But what you want to do is get in touch with them before you have to fire up that furnace system, whether it's a boiler, whether it's forced air, whatever the case may be. They'll be able to help you out. Close out that air conditioning unit properly by maybe giving it a tune-up or having them shut it down if you don't know how to do that. If it's making funny noises, this is the time to do it. Their telephone number is 612-825-6867. It's answered by a human being during business hours. Also, their website is helpful to you, welterheating.com. Click on the blog section, the icon there, and you may just find the answer to a problem that you may be able to fix yourself. If not, they've got certified techs that do all their homework, so they're ready to tackle whatever heating or cooling issues that you may have. Located in Minneapolis for over 120 plus years, 4 generations. Rick and the gang do a great job, and they are huge garage logicians, so they'll do you right. welterheating.com. Heat up that shelter with the fine folks from Ray and Welter.
This is Patrick Ricey for The Canopy Group. As you set out to explore Minnesota this summer, just know this. There are 234 cities in Minnesota with populations over 2,500. The Canopy Group has customers in all but 7 of those. Why is this fact important? Because the Canopy Group's experience in these Minnesota cities gives them a unique edge in providing you the comprehensive home and auto insurance options you want. Remember, the Canopy Group offers 16 insurance companies for a reason, to help match your specific situations, including your zip code, with an insurance company that meets your needs. This is done for you every year because your specific situation may change. It is also true that the insurance company's appetites that you're with now might change as well. The experience working throughout Minnesota provides thousands of Canopy Group customers with peace of mind, knowing that the Canopy Group is working for you. To learn more, visit thecanopygroup.com today.
Here's a man who spends hours in hardware stores, sifting through the nuts and bolts of life. Joe Souchere.
Breaking news. You want this breaking news? You want it right now? Right here, right here?
This the syrup winner?
No. We Are Nuts.
Oh, yeah.
WeAreNutsMN.com.
I told you guys I bought the ones you told me to.
The bourbon toffee almonds?
Yes. My God, they're addictive.
I told you. Okay, here's the deal, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, through the end of the month of September, you walk into any Kowalski's Markets and Lunds and Byerly's, and guess what? The We Are Nuts are all going to be on sale 25% off. That's right. Fresh copy right here for We Are Nuts and WeAreNutsMN.com. They've got these cool displays at all.
Are they nuts?
They're crazy.
Okay.
They're absolutely crazy. In fact, I'm going to have to make a stop. There's a Kowalski's right off Ide Mill, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Grand and Hamlin.
I'm going to have to go right there because
Stop by MKVet.
the boys cleaned me out of the cinnamon toffee peanuts over the weekend, so I'm going to have to stop in there. And also, I tried these for the very first time over the weekend. The ginger turmeric honey peanuts. Spectacular.
Sounds good.
Anyway, so you could go
Ain't
into
no bad ones.
No, not really. And even the hot nuts, which I didn't think I'd be a fan of, I really, really did enjoy. But
I will say that the sesame ones, they could even do more to bring the heat. I love the sesame. They're addictive.
Not hot enough.
But I would say they could even make them hotter.
All right, so either go into those locations or go to WeAreNutsMN.com.
I think you're nuts,
As
Joe.
the traffic control agent is waving at all of us in support of WeAreNutsMN.com. And please let them know that you heard about them on the Garage Logic podcast.
Thanks, Chris. That was nuts.
Nutty.
In national and international news, a federal appeals court this morning rejecting President Trump's bid to overturn a jury verdict that ordered him to pay $83.3 million for defaming writer E. Jean Carroll. That decision from a trio of judges on the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit upheld that verdict, which Trump had argued was excessive and invalid following a Supreme Court decision that expanded his presidential immunity. The panel held that the president has failed to identify any grounds that would warrant reconsidering our prior holding on presidential immunity. The White House referred reporters to Trump's personal lawyers in the case for comment. They were immediately contacted and did not respond to requests from various news organizations for any comment. Americans grew notably less optimistic about their job market in August and downgraded views of their current financial situations, according to a report from the New York Federal Reserve Bank today. The regional Fed Bank survey of consumer expectations for August also found essentially stable expectations for future price pressures. The survey, conducted over the course of the last month, flagged a sharp rise in respondents who said finding a new job would be harder if they became unemployed. The expected probability of finding new work in such an event among respondents was 44.9%. That is the lowest level in that survey since June of 2013 and down more than 6 percentage points from the figures in July. Postal traffic in the United States has plunged by about 81% following the end of the duty-free de minimis exemption for low-value packages to the U.S., according to a press release by the Universal Postal Union. The UPU had begun rolling out a technical solution to help postal players resume deliveries in light of a change that took place August 29th. A UPU spokesperson told Newsweek they had no further comment. Sudden operational changes that halt or limit parcel flows to the U.S. risk disrupting supply chains, delaying consumer goods, and imposing unexpected costs on merchants and shoppers. Multiple national postal services announced pauses or suspensions of any U.S.-bound parcels around the August 29th implementation date, highlighting the scale of the disruption.
Johnny, I hate to do this to you during
Yes.
your newscast, but I'm seeing a bit of breaking news from our buddy Blois Olson. The Minnesota Star-Tribune is closing its printing plant, eliminating 125 jobs. The paper, which is going to navigate closer towards digital online. Wow, this is incredible. The paper's now going to be...
Is this something just breaking?
Yes, this is within the last 45
because
minutes.
they print the Pioneer Press.
The paper is now going to be printed in Iowa.
Wonder what the hell happens
How
to
dare
us.
they?
Wow.
Not only do we not have a building.
What do you mean, us?
Now they print the
You still
Pioneer.
include yourself in
Yeah. Hell.
Approximately 125 employees are going to be affected by the closure of Heritage.
I don't know.
The Minnesota Star-Tribune will negotiate with impacted employees, unions, to determine the benefits and other resources available to impacted employees. Holy cow. It is going to maintain that facility until December 27th of 2025.
Where are you getting that?
This is from Blois Olson. The Minnesota Star-Tribune today announced plans to stop operating its own printing facility. The move is in part of the Star-Tribune's ongoing transformation into a modern, digital-first media company while ensuring the long-term financial health of the organization. This move will result in the closure and sale of the company's Heritage printing facility in Minneapolis, where the Star-Tribune has printed its daily newspaper for nearly 4 decades. Print delivery to subscribers will continue without interruption, with the Gannett printing facility in Des Moines, Iowa, printing the newspapers, and the Minnesota Star-Tribune's distribution, fleet handling, delivery of the daily newspaper throughout Minnesota.
So, USA Today basically will be printing. That's Gannett. Will be printing the. I wonder if that includes the Pioneer. Well, it has to. The Pioneer Press has been getting printed by whoever prints the Minneapolis paper.
Right, they wouldn't distinguish between the two.
I'll have to find out.
Sorry to throw a grenade right here in the middle, but that's
what the hell.
Hey, at this point, huh?
Yeah, it's on their website also. So it's a real story.
Thank you, John. Appreciate it.
Steve Grove, publisher and CEO, said nothing about this is easy, but we're not deserting print. We're just changing how we produce the paper. Whatever.
Didn't Steve Grove used to work for the governor?
Yes, he did.
Oh, as a matter of fact. House Speaker Mike Johnson yesterday backed off his claim that President Trump was an FBI informant in the case for sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. This past Friday, after we were done with our show, Johnson told reporters on Capitol Hill that Trump cares deeply about the crimes Epstein committed and said Trump was, quote, an FBI informant to try and take this stuff down. Well, yesterday, his office released a statement that modified that claim. It said the speaker is reiterating what the victim's attorney said, which is that Donald Trump, who kicked Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago, was the only one more than a decade ago willing to help prosecutors expose Epstein for being a child predator. About a dozen of Epstein's accusers gave emotional testimony last week outside the U.S. Capitol. During that event, an attorney who represents many of the victims, Brad Edwards, told reporters Trump has done an about-face on Epstein since 2009. Edwards said that when he spoke to Trump in 2009, Trump was friendly to the victim's plight and did not think that it was a hoax and was trying to help. Edwards added, it now seems like all of a sudden somebody's in his ear, and he's not. Edwards on Wednesday did not say whether Trump cooperated with investigators in 2009, but did note that Trump helped in his efforts against Epstein at the time in 2009. We had some rock and roll deaths the past few days.
Who would we lose?
Are these people only you would know?
No, well, they shouldn't be. I don't know.
Yeah.
Mark Volman?
Nope.
He was the Turtles.
Yeah, he was one of the lead singers and founder of the Turtles. He was 78. Volman died on September 5th after a brief unexpected illness in Nashville, according to his rep. He began
turtles.
Yeah.
Began his musical career in high school in 1963 when he joined his classmate Howard Kalin's band, the Crossfires. They eventually renamed themselves the Turtles. They had their first top 10 hit in 1965 with a version of Bob Dylan's It Ain't Me, Babe. The band was further propelled into fame with hits like Happy Together and Eleanor. 8 songs hit the top 20 in the U.S. for the band. Volman was a standout with his wide grin and curly hair. After the Turtles broke up in 1970, Volman and Kalin began performing as the duo Flo and Eddie. They toured with Frank Zappa's Mothers of Invention and sang background vocals on all kinds of records, including records by T-Rex, Duran Duran, Bruce Springsteen, Alice Cooper, and many more.
So he did have a career.
Yeah, they were wonderful on the Retro Act, too. I saw them in the 80s. Mm-hmm. Very good and funny.
I'm not trying to make a joke. Did they have a local connection, the Turtles, at all?
Not that I'm aware of.
Oh, okay.
They played the fair a few times.
That's okay. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of then.
And I have resisted singing Mrs. Brown.
That's not the
I know. You schooled me on that, so I held back.
Yeah. I said they were the second concert I ever saw. Them and Joe, you'll like this. The opener was Crow in 1969.
Sure.
In Bismarck.
Yeah.
And Rick Davies, the co-founder, singer, and songwriter of British band Supertramp, died after a long battle with cancer. He died after battling multiple myeloma, a type of blood cancer for more than a decade. Davies and Roger Hodgson, his partner, formed Supertramp in 1969, produced hits including Goodbye Stranger, Take the Long Way Home, The Logical Song, Give a Little Bit, and several others. They topped the charts in 1979 with the album Breakfast in America. It won 2 Grammys. That album sold over 18 million copies.
Johnny,
I thought it was a good album.
Is that the one that had the waitress with the milkshake?
Yes.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, Breakfast in America.
Did you like them, John?
I did, yeah.
I did, too.
I was fond of that band.
Yeah.
Yeah. More than 300 South Korean workers detained following a massive immigration raid at a Hyundai plant in Georgia will be released and brought home, the South Korean government announced. Kang Hoon-sik, chief of staff for President Lee Jae-myung, said South Korea and the U.S. had finalized negotiations on the workers' release. He said South Korea plans to send a charter plane to bring the workers home as soon as remaining administrative steps are taken. South Korea's foreign ministry said that Seoul and Washington are discussing details on allowing the detained workers to return on a voluntary basis. Said Foreign Minister Cho Hyun is to leave for the U.S. this afternoon for talks related to the workers' release. U.S. immigration authorities said Friday they detained 475 people, most of them South Korean nationals, when hundreds of federal agents raided Hyundai's sprawling manufacturing site in Georgia, where the Korean automaker makes electric vehicles.
John, I'd like to go back to music for a minute and ask you a question. Mm-hmm. I have someone very close to me who out of the blue flew to L.A. Thursday to attend the Oasis concert in the Rose Bowl Saturday night.
Oh, cool.
Then flew back Sunday. And when I said to him, I didn't know you were an Oasis fan, and he said something to the effect that I kind of think of them as the last band. I think I know what he meant, but I've never been terribly impressed by Oasis, and I'm surprised somebody would.
Apparently,
bumps.
Their live show apparently is just a spectacle.
Anyway, what did you think of Oasis?
I liked some Oasis stuff. I was not a huge fan. I've never owned any Oasis stuff, but I do like some
I saw
of their music.
Oasis at one of the theaters on Hennepin Avenue.
Really?
Whatever it would have been.
How long ago?
Well, they were Oasis. I mean, they were a big deal.
But how long ago was this? 20 years ago?
Oh, at least.
Yeah. Okay.
If not longer.
I thought they were
much longer.
The thing that bugged me about them is how derivative they were of the Beatles, but that's kind of natural. I mean, a lot of bands were like that.
Well, I think
liked,
most of them are.
But how can you blame a guy for going to the Rose Bowl to see that?
No, it was cool.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I had a son that you guys know who wanted to go to Chicago to see them, but then didn't do it.
Yeah.
He had sort of planned it and then kind of.
Well, and this weirdo lives in Chicago. I don't know why. Went to L.A.
That's kind of weird.
He said, I missed him in Chicago, so I went to L.A.
You know why he did it? Because he can.
That's right.
I don't know about the last band comment, though.
I think I know what he meant.
I know what he means, but I'd have to think on that.
I guess I don't. Help me.
Like traditional or?
No, they're a band. I mean, they don't, they're not, well, what am I thinking of? They're not, never mind. I have no idea.
I would do that just to hear Champagne Supernova live. That's a fantastic song.
I don't remember. I know you used to play their bumper music, but I can't recall any of their tunes.
I guess you had to be a kid of the 90s to.
Oh, my God, yes.
Yeah.
And you want me to read another one?
Sure.
Catholic Church recognized its first millennial saint yesterday, with Pope Leo XIV canonizing English-Italian Carlo Acutis. Remember, you talked about him, I think, with Patrick.
Well, he did a science fair. Pat's theory is we've even lowered the standards for sainthood. God bless this young man. I guess he was a hell of a guy, but he put together a website.
Known as God's influencer, Acutis passed away in 2006 at the age of 15 from an acute form of leukemia. Increasingly devout and skilled at computer programming from an early age, as Joe just said, he developed a worldwide catalog of various miracles and visions recognized as authentic by the church.
That's not enough for me.
Millions have flocked to his tomb in the intervening years, and Pope Francis recognized a pair of miracles attributed to his intercession in 2020 and 2024. Miracles, of course, are a general requirement for sainthood.
Yeah, but and we're not counting card tricks, right? It's,
I'm with you.
Let's do something. We need.
I learned how to juggle.
It was a science fair project.
The Roman Catholic Church recognizes more than 10,000 people as saints. Did you know that, Joe? I did not know.
That's a high number.
I know we had a lot of saints. I didn't know it was that many.
10,000. The exact number unknown. You know why?
Why?
They lost all the historical records at some point.
In a fire.
Really?
And what
It's always in a fire.
What were those records held in? A giant. Come on.
Well, like a vault?
They recorded everything. No, I mean, in what form? It wasn't on a computer.
A tablet?
A big,
tape
huge,
recorder?
Giant ledger.
Oh, yeah, big ledger.
with the big,
Yes, big,
cover.
thick cover, leather bound.
And the pen, you had to dip it in an inkwell.
You had to calligraph
And
that.
this? Doing one of these?
Yeah.
Is that when...
God bless him,
just because your son's here, wasn't that the first time you swore in front of your mother? Wasn't she doing some calligraphy?
She was doing a piece, and the cat
John,
had a shirt on. It just
continue,
clawed me.
John.
Yes. All right, let's finish up here with nature is fascinating. Maybe you saw this, Joe. Have you read your Wall Street Journal today?
Not yet. It just came when I was leaving.
Right. There's an interesting story about animal migration on the cover.
Oh, is this the antelopes?
A movement of 6 million mammals.
Yes.
Almost triple the size of the Serengeti wild beast.
Oh, it's just gorgeous.
I guess that'd be wildebeest.
What kind of
not
animals
wild
are they?
beast.
Mammals.
Hang on, we'll get to it here. They are antelopes. The Great Nile migration occurs largely in South Sudan, has rarely been documented by humans. The migration includes 4 antelope species, the white-eared kobe, the tiang, the Mangala gazelle, and the Bahor reedbuck.
Such a sight is beautiful.
And you must cross before Pharaoh chases you down.
They often move in herds of 100,000 animals or more. They travel in a U-shape around Boma National Park into Ethiopia. Their movement patterns, while not entirely understood, are believed to be largely seasonal, while the Kobe heading north for the dry season and south for the wet season. And Wall Street Journal, they gave them, all the governments, all the access they wanted.
Right, and you see film of it.
Yes.
And it's so nice to get a story like that where we're not hectored about the decline of the earth and everything else. It was just
seriously,
gorgeous.
though, if there's that many and they're running through the desert, how does that many eat? What do they?
They stop.
Okay.
They get
Taco Bell.
Right. Santiago.
Thank you very much, John. I'm sorry. See, you can make some notes about this kind of BS here. And you can talk to him because I haven't for 30 years. He hasn't paid any attention to me. So,
You want to know why?
Well, I'll tell you why.
Let's go.
Because education is failing in this state. And I think that applies to you.
It has failed me.
Yeah. And the Center of the American Experiment wants to do something about that. We've tried money, we've tried additional bureaucracy, and we're top-heavy on administrations. It doesn't work. None of that works. But the Center of the American... Half the kids in this state don't read or do math at grade level. Half. And that's since Wolsey became governor. He's not really the friend of education that he pretends to be. And the American Experiment has an idea. It's called 7K for Kids. And you get control as a parent and a taxpayer. You get control of $7,000.
Oh, yeah.
And then you pick the right school for your kid. You make your own choice. It could be a public school, private school, charter, homeschool, whatever works. It's a great idea, and you can find out more about it at centeroftheamericanexperiment.org. Great website. You should be checking that every day anyway because they do the news that doesn't get covered in the Twin Cities. And you fish around in there, squirm around in there, and you'll find 7K for Kids. Centeroftheamericanexperiment.org.
You cannot stop him. He'll just make a move. Joe Souchere.
I wanted to read this email before we get to this day in history. Evening, gents. I was going to write this a week ago after the school shooting, but I didn't. I keep hearing about solutions like gun control or more counseling for the mentally ill. What I'm not hearing about is how parents and schools are failing. How are we going to fix when we're growing the problem? We're lying to kids. Schools are telling boys they can be girls. We're telling white kids to feel guilty for being white. Minority kids, it's okay if they fail. It's not their fault as their skin color matters. We've all heard the talks on the West Coast about 2 + 2 = 4 is racist. Or simply put, math is racist. School counselors, especially groomers, can take kids down the trans path without involving parents, and some counselors leave out parents. I lived this out, he notes parenthetically. Kids can get a few months counseling, if that, and be put on T. What's T mean? Again, I've seen it. Here's a video to scare you. These people should be jailed. I didn't look at the video he linked me to. Trans, I guess, is the T. Trans is not a parent having a conversation with a parent about their sexual feelings towards the opposite same sex. This is about using untested drugs on a child because of a supposed empathy. This is political. It was merely a conversation. If it was merely a conversation, we wouldn't be here. Bit of a step here, but now look at all the killings that go unnoticed every week, and our liberal friends say all big cities have this problem as if it's acceptable. If you take a moment to look at all the innocent people killed or just beaten up for no reason in big liberal cities, it's frightening. The amount of people killed at Annunciation was nothing statistically. I don't mean to downplay how horrific that is, but what about all the innocents killed every other week? Which leads me to a recent lady in the news, Irina Zarutska, murdered by a stranger that was in the system multiple times, but out and about, much like the revolving doors in Minneapolis and St. Paul. This was a horrible case in Charlotte, South Carolina.
Don't tell me you watched the video.
Yeah, where this mad person kills this woman sitting in a train seat in front of him.
Yep. She's just looking at her phone.
And the Liberal mayor in Charlotte, Mayor Lee Lyles, blamed mental illness. Excellent video here from a group I'm familiar with, Clear Thinker. You can all find this video. I would not recommend watching it.
Do not watch it.
Where's the contract with society, which is what we've been talking about, the civil contract? It's unwritten. Where's the people I pay taxes to that should be dealing with these sick people? Well, a lot of them don't work. Now, if I take it back to enunciation, what kind of mental illness did our schools or government foster by feeding the sickness known as gender dysphoria? Until trans became political, it was a sickness for a reason. There is no reason this shouldn't be 100% experimental. If it's your gig after 18 or 21, so be it, but not kids. 25, if you ask me. A quick but informative clip from a much larger interview. This man, now Scott Nugent, was interviewed in a documentary by Matt Walsh, which I can't share. It must be purchased. It shows it is experimental and can destroy a life. I did a horrible job of tying it together, but perhaps you get my line of thinking. We're making society worse by lying to children. We lie to the kids and criminals all in a way that slowly kills our society, but it is being done under the umbrella of empathy. As always, good luck, Brandt. He's emailed before, so I respect his words. I think he's on the right track.
You know, the worst part about that story...
And those lies have broken the civil contract. Yes?
The woman who was brutally murdered on that subway sought refuge in this country from...
Ukraine.
Because she wanted to feel safe. And remember how much national outrage there was over, was it Daniel Penny? Remember the ex-military guy that choked, or was holding that?
Yeah.
And there's no outrage over this.
This hasn't even made the news.
Hasn't even made the news. This country is so broken.
It makes you want to be in South Africa, doesn't it?
Oof.
Over there in Marloth Park in Mpumalanga.
Yeah.
Where the giraffes come right up to the porch.
Right up to you. What do you feed a giraffe?
I don't know.
Giraffe food.
It was on this day.
Joe, today
is... This is from the Traveling Lyman's.
Yes, sir.
It was on this day.
September 8th.
In 1884, a tornado moved through Hennepin, Ramsey, and Washington counties. It killed 9 people. White Bear Lake was hardest hit. And in 1958, I saw a tornado move through White Bear Lake. But back then, only 9 people were killed. That's unfortunate. Can you imagine if a similar tornado went through Hennepin, Ramsey, and Washington counties today? But we get better warnings today.
That's right.
On this day,
on September 8th,
in 1906, the celebrated trotting horse Dan Patch paced a mile in 1 minute and 55 seconds at the state fair, setting the world record. Right there at the fairgrounds. That would happen.
Dan Patch Avenue, Joe.
Thank you. On this day,
September 9th,
in 1975, Deborah Montgomery was the first woman admitted to the St. Paul Police Academy. She eventually rose to the rank of lieutenant. On this day,
on September 8th,
in 1991, that's 34 years ago.
Boy.
Philanthropist Eleanor Lawler Pillsbury died at the age of 104. She had been involved with the Women's Association of the Minneapolis Symphony Orchestra, the National Society of Colonial Dames of America, Minnesota Planned Parenthood, and the Friends of the Minneapolis Institute of Arts. So she truly was wealthy enough to pretend she was a liberal. On this day,
September 8th.
Yep.
Well, we go backwards in time now. I missed this. On this day,
on September 8th,
in 1919, the Minnesota legislature ratified the 19th Amendment to the Constitution, granting women the right to vote. Prior to this federal amendment, the state's women had been permitted to vote only in elections for school officials and library officials since 1876 and 1898, respectively. Women had been permitted to vote for presidential electors since March 24, 1919. But a presidential election allowing them to exercise that right was not held until 1920.
Do you agree?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, iron my shirt.
Oh. Jeez.
There you go.
I'm kidding.
I know you are.
Well, on this day in Minnesota sports disappointment history.
How did we let the fans down on September 8th, Joe?
Well, it was on September 8th in the year 2000. Glenn Taylor called to a meeting with NBA commissioner.
This is the Joe Smith
and
deal.
had to admit a secret deal with Joe Smith.
Oh,
Yikes.
I vaguely remember that. What was the problem?
It was a contract that was not approved by the league, and it cost him, 5 draft picks, 5 first-round draft picks, something like that?
That team was always held back by something like that.
So Glenn honors that by today announcing the Star Tribune is going to close its production.
No more printing. I got to...
It'll still be printed, don't
Yeah, by Gannett down in Iowa.
Yes, and you'll still get your papers.
But 125 people lost their jobs.
That's true, yes.
I was just trying to make an analogy, John, to the
get
paper.
there. Make it go quick.
Well, thank you, GLers.
Hey, thank you, GLers. Do us a favor if you have not done so already and hit subscribe on the Garage Logic YouTube channel. That's right, Garage Logic has a YouTube channel, and on that channel, you can watch the show each and every single day, starting right around noon. You can also see full segments. There's video shorts. There's behind-the-scenes footage. You can watch Rookie trying to get out of a pool on the Garage Logic YouTube channel.
That's ugly.
That one's a fun one. But you can also search us on all of our social media channels, which includes Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And also sign up for the Daily Logician. That's an email that comes right to your inbox each and every single day. And it includes the most recent episode of the podcast. Find out more and sign up today on the website, which is, of course, garagelogic.com.